What's going on? Ryan K here, and I want to take 10 minutes, show you how to create your own job seeker coach in ChatGPT. I made it really easy for you. If you just follow the following presentation, it'll walk you step by step through exactly how to set up this coach. This is designed to help you with rewriting your resume, customizing it for a given job, understand what things you need to do to point out to create a better cover letter, a paying letter, to do networking, to prepare for interviews, you name it. This will give you a professional coach installed right in your ChatGPT string. But before we get started, just keep in mind there's a bunch of stuff you can do with ChatGPT, especially when you view it as a collaborative conversation between you and a coach. Instead of thinking it's just a search engine or something you can just throw a prompt at. There's some things to keep in mind, though. You're going to get out of it whatever you put into it. Specifically, what that means is you can't just throw a prompt at it and say, rewrite my resume. And the reason why, while you could do that, it won't be as good is because ChatGPT knows everything about everything, but it doesn't know anything about you. Your goal of creating this thread, and I'm going to show you, it's 5 steps here. What type of coach do you need? What is your education and work history, i.e. your resume or LinkedIn profile? What job are you interested, meaning copy and paste in the job ad you just found on Indeed? What information should it use? And what do you need help with? These 5 steps, when you train your ChatGPT coach, is going to help it to actually respond the way you want to respond. So I'm going to show you how I do this, but keep this one thing in mind. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, share this with people so that you get updates, because we are creating prompts and coaches to help you throughout the entire, not just job hunt or job seeking journey, but also as you start a new job, as you want to level up your job, as you want to find a new career path, you name it. Creating a ChatGPT coach to help you along the way, super, super powerful. Now, most likely you've seen one of my job seeker prompts or one of my prompts on our blog that kind of walks through the steps of start by telling it which persona you want, then tell it about yourself, etc., etc. And so I'm actually going to show you a live stream on what I did. So I started right off the bat. My very first prompt was this one right here. Can you act as? You can give it a name if you want. You can give it a personality. You can tell it what kind of lingo, like witty and compelling. But the key here is my personal expert career and job coach. I'm going to provide you with information about my resume, the jobs I'm interested in, and I'd like your help guiding me through this, right? And so as you come down through this, it answers and says, sure thing, I can help you with this. So I went ahead and said, here's my current resume and LinkedIn profile, and I literally just copied and pasted my LinkedIn profile right into the string. It came back and said, hey, this is awesome. I reviewed it. It's impressive, etc., etc. Here's some observations as it's reviewing it, right? Now, the key here is that your resume needs to fit the job you're interested in. And so I just went ahead and took and said, here's the job I'm interested in, and I copied and pasted the entire job ad directly off of Indeed, right? Based off of that, it comes back and says, here's the strategy for tailoring this, right? Highlight certain experience, emphasize certain stuff, talk about your ability to create, etc. And so it walks down through all of the stuff that I should do. Now, I also gave it a few other jobs that I was interested in. And so it went through each of the jobs and came back and said, here's what you're going to do for each step of the process. But now I'm going to jump all the way past this and get down to where I actually get it to help me write it, right? Here's my application strategy for a different job. And so again, it walks through each of those jobs and it's comparing my resume versus the job ad. Now, I could also upload in versions of other people's resumes that are currently doing the job. That's another great way to use this coach. And so, but right here, provide me with a list of ways that you can help assist me throughout the entire job search process as I'm trying to apply for a certain job. And it comes back and gives me, here's how I can help you. Here's what you'll need to know. And here's the prompt to run. So at this point, I can now feed in or ask it. So for instance, can you rewrite these based on me applying for the marketing manager job at Comply Auto? And so it gives me a list of prompts that I can literally just say, ChatGPT, can you provide job listings similar? Hey, can you review and suggest improvements to my resume, to my LinkedIn profile based off of that specific job? So I'll actually show you here, can you help me apply for a job? I need to know the job. I need to see your resume. And so I went ahead and said, can you use the information I loaded above about my resume and LinkedIn profile and the type of job I'm interested in? And so it'll run through that entire thing. So at this point, I could say, I'd like some help rewriting my LinkedIn profile based on helping me like a great fit for the marketing manager job at Comply Auto. And now it's going to give me some feedback on that, right? This is a great idea. Here it's spitting back that information of here's my current one. Here's what I should change it to. And so it's suggesting. Now, clearly, I need to make sure that these things are accurate about me, that I actually know how to do this kind of stuff. But the key is that it's highlighting parts of my backstory based on the specific role I'm getting ready to apply to. I could actually, have it, can you give me a list of ideas, interview questions that I might be asked when applying for the marketing manager job? And so I can pretty much now ask it whatever question I want. If at any time it feels like the answers aren't giving me what I want, I can remind it, hey, remember that you're my expert job seeking coach, and answer based off of the information at the top of this thread, and it will remind it, bringing it right back to what we're actually trying to get it to help me with. But here you can see it just gave me a list of interview questions. Now, I might actually ask it, can you help me come up with an answer framework to follow when answering these questions that will impress the hiring manager? Frameworks are a great way to think about this. Instead of saying, can you give me the answer so I can memorize it? Instead, you want it to say, give me a framework to follow so that when I answer questions, this STAR method is a really big one. Set the context of your answer. Describe the situation, the background in which you're involved. Talk about the specific task or challenge. Detail the actions you took. Explain the results. This one right here is the default framework for answering questions, for answering questions, whether it's an email or an interview, whatever the case may be. But really quite simple. At this point, it now has my resume. And so I can say, using my LinkedIn profile and resume, help me prepare or help me adjust it to apply for the following job. And I can literally jump back out to Indeed, go find a job I want to apply for. So I could go to Indeed here. I can go and find a SaaS marketing manager job, see what comes up. Here's a revenue operations management job. I can go ahead and grab this entire job description and come back to ChatGPT and tell it that's the job I want to apply for. And it's now going to give me feedback once again. All right, we need to adjust away from experienced marketing professional to revenue operations and sales strategy specialist. I need to adjust my summary. I need to adjust my skills. Now, once again, I've got to make sure I have these skills. It's going back and forth and giving me a bunch of ideas of exactly what I should adjust on my resume. I can now say, rewrite my resume based off of these suggestions. And it's now going to rewrite my resume and feed it back in here. I may need to give it a new copy of my resume, but it's literally giving me a resume template that is going to be a great fit for the job that I'm interested in. Now, right here, you can see it doesn't know my information, and so I might need to remind it and say, grab, customize, and personalize this resume based on my LinkedIn profile or Ryan. Now, if it doesn't remember it, it didn't see it. And so now it's going to come back through and ask me to plug it in. Great way to do this if you're using LinkedIn. I'll show you this one last thing as we finish up here. If I go into my profile or literally anybody's profile and click Save to PDF, it will download for you a PDF of that file. And at that point, I can go ahead and just copy and paste it in to ChatGPT. And so this will give it, in the same way I could copy and paste my resume. Here is my current resume, use as our starting point. And now I just gave it a bunch of information to use as it now can rewrite that resume for this given job, right? And so now it's going to go through and rewrite the whole resume for me. Now, clearly, once again, this is a draft. This is a starting point, but it's a great starting point that puts you worlds ahead of what comes next. I can now ask it anything I want. As my job seeker coach, provide for me or write for me a email follow-up after applying for the job, write an email follow-up after the interview, et cetera, et cetera. I can plug in the name or LinkedIn profile of the person I interviewed with. The possibilities are endless here. So thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and more of these types of trainings will be coming out in the future. We'll talk to you later.